When it comes to book adaptation films, it's usually a mixed bag. We get absolute gems such as The Lord of the Rings, Hunger Games, Captain Underpants, Maze Runner, and Harry Potter. But on the other hand, we can get not so good films like Divergent, The Lovely Bones, 50 Shades of Grey, The Snowman, and many more that are just way too long to name. I'll be here all day if I did. But if there's one book series that holds a special place in my heart to this day, it would have to be the Diary of Wimpy Kid books. These books were my entire middle school life. For my absolute favorites being Roger Rules and Dog Days, these books, quote unquote, fed families. It's ridiculous that these books had a chokehold on culture like this in the late 2000s into the 2010. And when a 10-year-old Mac saw this advert for a live action version of the first book, I think I knew I had to watch it.
Meet Greg.
I think middle school may be the cruelest place on earth.
Make her move! She's a girl. Where do I grab her?
In Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Hey, that's pretty good.
And recognizing that this film is almost 15 years old and I am extremely old and time is fleeting, I pose this question for this edition of Flash Mac Friday. Does Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the movie, still hold up in 2024? My answer would be a yes. Kind of. Diary of a Wimpy Kid is a fun film that does a great job of being relatable for those awkward moments we were trying to go through middle school years and all the awkward social cues that came with it, because we always have that moment of like, man, remember school? How high school was either the greatest thing or the worst thing in your life. I mean, everyone can either say that middle school is the same thing. For me, middle school was kind of a mixed bag. The 8th grade year was awesome, but then, you know, there's always those awkward moments too. And I think that the first Diary of a Wimpy Kid film does a good job of kind of capturing that social awkwardness when it comes to middle school. And that makes it so much more relatable and kind of homey to it compared to what we got later in the series. The things I liked about this film would have to be both the cast and the writing. Starting with the cast, they did a great job with bringing the characters to life. Zachary Gordon as Greg Heffley was a great choice. He really brought the character to life and was able to translate his personality perfect into the live action realm with his kind of narcissism, sociopathicness, and kind of thinking he's cool. And I think Zachary did a good job of portraying a live action Greg Heffley. Along with the supporting cast like Robert Capron as Rowley, Devin Bostic as Roger, Rachel Harris as Susan, and Steve Zahn as Frank, the supporting cast does a great job of being both memorable and bringing the characters to life, especially Devin Bostic as Roderick. Literally one of the best casting choices they got to play his older brother, because Devin brought that energy as Roderick. And even fans of the film to this day still say that he has given the best roles out of all 3 of these movies. Okay, maybe next to Steve Zahn, because Steve Zahn as Frank was kind of funny. And lastly, the writing of the film is solid. It has some witty dialogue and it makes for some fun interactions between characters. And lastly, the writing of the film is solid. It has some witty dialogue and it makes for some fun interactions between characters. It also leads the film to have a very engaging story that, you know, it has its cliches and tropes with it being the whole finding yourself, trying to climb the social ladder with school movies we see. But it does a good job of making it investing for the viewer. Big ups to the writing team they have established for this. I'd say the only thing that brings Diary of a Wimpy Kid down a bit for me would be some of the humor. Like I mentioned before, this takes place in middle school. Some of the jokes are your toilet and family, maybe some Bart P jokes you have with there. But it's silly, but it's still good fun. And compared to what we got in the 2017 version, this is tame compared to what we get soon. And will I cover that movie?
Fuck no, baby!
Diary of a Wimpy Kid was released on March 19th, 2010 on a budget of $15 million. After its run at the box office, it would go on to gross $76.2 million. Overall, Diary of a Wimpy Kid is a nice little throwback to the absolute peak of the franchise. No matter what came after, the first film has that whimsical charm that I feel like anyone will be able to love it. If you're a fan of the books and you like this movie, you're eating good. If you weren't a fan of the book, I say you should still give it a watch. And even after all these years later, it still holds up. It's a pretty fun film. Give it a watch if you can. And my final grade for Diary of a Wimpy Kid is going to be a B+. So let me know down in the comments below. Did you watch the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie? What did you think of it? And did you read the books growing up? Until next time, I've been Mac Reviews, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.
Zooey mama!
This is fun! Uh-oh.